Example 2, problem solving, says the minimum amount of time it takes a diver to ascend safely to the surface varies directly with the depth of the diver. How long does it take the diver to ascend safely from a depth of 450 feet? Now, I have a graph, and it's telling me the depth and how much time it takes for them to ascend. So the first thing I'm going to do is try to write an equation to represent this graph. So I'll ask myself, is this a proportional graph or is it a non-proportional graph? This one is linear through the origin, so I know it's proportional. They also told me that it varies directly. So that's a key to do y equals kx. I just have to find a constant or the slope. I'm going to keep my y, my equals, and my x. I'm going to go do rise over run, or you can just divide a y value by the x value. So I'm going to go, I'm just going to do these closest 2 points. Remember, you need to see what they're counting by. So whenever I go straight up, if I come over here to this y-axis and count by ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, it matches up. So this rise is only 1. Whenever I look at the x-axis, in between 0 and 60, it's divided up into 2 equal pieces. So if I take that number, that first one that they gave me, and divide it by 2, that tells me that it's counting by 30s. So 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180, and so on. So whenever I do this one jump to the right, it's 30. If that was confusing for you, since this is proportional, I could just take a point. Like, we'll go with this one because it's on a good intersection right here. And I'm going to name that point. It was labeled at 180. And then I can see that over here, it hits at the number 6. This is an x and a y. To get your constant, you divide the y by the x. So I would be putting the number 6 over 180 because that is my y number divided by my x number. So I want to see if 6 over 180 will reduce to what I got whenever I did rise over run. And it does. And it's kind of a shorter way that only works for proportional. Just divide y by x. So I'm going to keep it as a fraction, but it's reduced to 1 over 30. They asked for how long does it take the diver to ascend safely from a depth of 450 feet. They're giving me this number that I can plug into this equation. I just had to figure out, does that 450 need to go in for the y or need to go in for the x? All I need to do is go and see, where did they put feet? I see feet down here. This is the x-axis. So since they had feet on the x-axis, I'm going to go plug this number in for the x in the equation to figure out how long it would take for them to ascend safely from that depth. They were that far under the surface. 1/3 times 450 is 150. They're asking for how long does this take, and this is in minutes.